Why was Jungkook seen leaving Taehyung's home with tears in his eyes? What happened behind those closed doors that left even the golden magne speechless? Why is Taehyung still not fully recovered even after returning home from the hospital? And more importantly, is BTS silently bracing for something much bigger than what meets the eye in a city that never truly sleeps, especially when it comes to K-pop news? Something unusual happened last night. Something that left the heart of ARMY shattered and trembling with questions. A single blurry photo surfaced on social media, taken in the fading dusk of Hanamdong, Seoul. It showed Jungkook walking slowly down the street, hood pulled over his head, mask on, but even from beneath that, fans swore they could see something glistening in his eyes. Was he crying? That single image spiraled into trending hashtags. Hashtag Stay Strong Taehyung, hashtag Jungkook Tears, and hashtag Team Home Care, and with it came a cascade of rumors, speculations, and hidden within them, shocking truths. Today, K-Media Heartline brings you an exclusive, emotional, and deeply personal dive into the moments that fans have only caught glimpses of. Until now, it all began 3 months ago, shortly after Kim Taehyung, beloved as V of BTS, completed his military service. ARMY waited with open arms for his glorious return. Instead, whispers of his sudden absence started surfacing. He wasn't posting. He wasn't seen in public. And there were no reunion group photos like fans had hoped for. What happened? Then came the bombshell. Taehyung had been hospitalized. The news was subtle, almost buried in a sea of other headlines. No dramatic press release. No full disclosure. Just a quiet confirmation from a close source that Taehyung was receiving care for post-military health complications in a Seoul hospital. The exact details were left blank. The media, unusually respectful this time, didn't dig deep, but the fans did. And what they uncovered painted a story no one was prepared for. Kim Taehyung had pushed himself to the limit during his military service, emotionally, mentally, and physically. It's not a story of a celebrity struggling with fame. It's something more raw, more human. Sources close to BTS have now confirmed that the combination of long military drills, suppressed injuries, and emotional weight had quietly chipped away at Taehyung's health. His hospital admission wasn't planned. It was urgent, a result of ignoring warning signs for far too long. And as the world unknowingly waited for new music or a casual selfie, Taehyung was lying in a white hospital bed, surrounded not by cameras but by silence. Jungkook, as always, was the first to respond. They didn't even think he would show up that night, said a nurse who wished to remain anonymous. But around 2 a.m., Jungkook walked in, still wearing his cap from the studio. He stayed by Taehyung's bed for over 9 hours. Just sat there, barely said a word. What could Jungkook have been thinking as he watched his closest friend, the one who had sung with him, laughed with him, grown with him, sleep under flickering hospital lights? The answer may lie in what followed. According to hospital staff, Jungkook returned every single day for weeks straight. He brought flowers one day, Taehyung's favorite jazz records the next. But more than gifts, he brought silence. The kind of silence that only exists between people who no longer need to speak to understand one another. And then, without warning, Taehyung was discharged, but not back into the spotlight. Not even back into a BTS storm. He was quietly moved to his private residence, under strict home care supervision. And that's where things took a turn. Why is Taehyung still under home care? It's the question fans can't stop asking. If he was discharged, that should mean he's better, right? Wrong. The truth is more complicated. While Taehyung's physical condition stabilized, emotionally, he wasn't ready. And according to inside sources, that's what Jungkook found hardest to accept. He kept saying, "I thought once he came home, everything would be okay," said a close friend of Jungkook's. But it wasn't. Taehyung wasn't talking much. He slept a lot. He didn't smile. Jungkook was scared, not just for his friend's health, but for who he was becoming. And then came the day that broke everyone's heart. On June 28th, Jungkook arrived at Taehyung's home in the early morning. He stayed with him all day, just like he used to. They sat on the floor, shared a few snacks, watched old BTS videos. There were even smiles, faint, but real. But by nightfall, something shifted. As Jungkook left the house, Taehyung reportedly whispered something. No one else heard it, but Jungkook did. He turned, blinked slowly, and walked away with his head down. And by the time he reached the street, those tears had already begun to fall. What did Taehyung say that night? Fans have speculated endlessly. Some believe it was something poetic. Others, something heartbreaking. But an anonymous member of the medical staff claims to have overheard a recent conversation between Taehyung and a therapist that may provide a clue. I don't want them to wait for me. Not if I can't be who I used to be, Taehyung reportedly said. That single line has sent shockwaves across fandoms and industry insiders alike. Because if true, it suggests something far more serious than physical illness. It points to a deeper identity crisis, one that even fame can't protect against. The words that were never meant to be heard, the hidden letters between Taehyung and Jungkook during his silent fight. If the hospital walls could speak, they would tell the story of a bond that refused to break under the weight of pain. A story that unfolded not in loud declarations or dramatic outbursts, but in whispers, handwritten notes, and quiet visits at odd hours. According to a source close to the family, Kim Taehyung and Jungkook began exchanging letters shortly after Taehyung's hospitalization. While Taehyung was too weak or unwilling to speak for extended periods, his need to express himself never faded. The result? A growing stack of handwritten notes, some long, some painfully short, hidden inside a drawer near his hospital bed. Most of these notes may never see the light of day, but one in particular has been partially revealed by a person who is allowed to read it, under the promise of anonymity. I heard the city outside my window today, but I felt like I didn't belong to it anymore. It's strange, Kook, how your body can heal faster than your soul. I see your eyes when you visit, how you pretend not to worry. But I know you. I know you're breaking too. Please don't wait for the old me. I don't even know if he exists anymore. This fragment alone sent waves of emotion through the ARMY community when it was anonymously posted, then deleted hours later. Many speculated, was this really written by Taehyung? Others believed it instantly, because the handwriting, the style, and the emotional core matched everything fans know of him. And Jungkook's rumored reply? A simple note slipped under the pillow beside Taehyung's sleeping form. I'm not here for the old you. I'm here for every version of you. Don't ask me to leave. I wouldn't even know how. JK, these intimate words are not lyrics. They're not scripted dialogue for a music video. They're the raw, unfiltered essence of two men who have shared more life together than most people could ever imagine. It's not just about BTS. It's about two hearts learning how to support each other when everything else falls silent. Jimin's mysterious silence, and the call that changed everything. But while Jungkook remained a steady presence, another name began to trend in the background. Park Jimin. Where was he? Jimin, known for his emotional connection with Taehyung and their famously affectionate friendship, had remained entirely absent from the public narrative surrounding Taehyung's hospitalization and recovery. No public statements. No photos. No cryptic Instagram stories. Nothing. Fans were worried. Was there a rift? Had something happened? But the truth, as it turns out, was even more heartbreaking than a fight. According to someone close to Jimin's camp, he found out about Taehyung's hospitalization while he was overseas for a private personal project. And by the time he returned, Taehyung had already been transferred home and had requested no visitors except immediate family and Jungkook. That broke Jimin. The source recalls a particularly emotional phone call between the two friends that took place in early June. I just wanted to hear your voice, Hyung, Jimin had said, according to the insider. But I understand if you're not ready. Taehyung's voice on the other end was barely a whisper. But he responded with something that left Jimin in tears. I'm trying to come back to you, but I don't want you to see me like this. I need more time. Since that call, Jimin has reportedly sent Taehyung daily voice notes, small messages of encouragement, memories of better times, sometimes even lullabies. He hasn't stopped reaching out, even if he hasn't yet been allowed in, and that kind of love, that's not absence. That's presence in its most quiet and selfless form.